If you're wondering whether private parking fines are enforceable, then the answer isn't a simple yes or no. When the fine's issued, technically it's not, but the parking operator could take it to court and win, and then it is. I'll give you some examples of court cases in a minute. Now, when you get a parking charge notice, it's seen as more like an invoice that has to be paid. If you appeal and it gets cancelled, then you can forget about it. Ignoring it isn't wise and can potentially have consequences, and this depends on the company and how far they want to push it. These fines can be issued in places like privately owned car parks like hospitals, supermarkets, and business premises. A PCN can be left on your vehicle or sent to you by post if you were caught on camera. It's important to check if the ticket was issued by a member of an accredited trade association, ATA for short, as non-members might not be able to access your details from the DVLA, which means that you could actually ignore that kind of ticket. Ignoring a PCN can lead to complications, including the car park owner taking you to small claims court. In court, they may argue that by parking on their private land that you entered into a contractual agreement that you breached. If the court rules in their favour and the ticket becomes enforceable, then you must pay. Here are a couple of examples when it can go for or against you in court. 85-year-old Stanley took parking company XL to court and won. He stopped in a reserved space, but it was dark and he was unaware. He took substantial evidence and won the case, and XL had to pay all the fees. On the flip side to this, a lady in Dundee parked outside her dad's flat and ignored parking fines and came through a door. The case went to court and it was ruled that she had to pay just under £25,000. Now, this case is quite extreme, but it shows that ignoring it isn't the best move. Winning in court allows private parking companies to enforce a ticket, increasing the amount that you owe due to added court costs and fees. Ignoring a private parking ticket could lead to unnecessarily legal trouble, so it's generally better to either pay or appeal as soon as you can. If you choose not to pay a private parking fine, the issuing company might send repeated reminders to pay, or they could pass it to a debt collection agency, who will then attempt to collect the payment from you. Debt collection agencies don't have more legal power than the original issuer, but can be persistent and it can be stressful. Not paying a penalty charge notice from a local council is more serious and could lead to court orders and bailiff involvement. Now, if you think that your parking fine was issued unfairly, then you can appeal to the private parking company that issued you the ticket. If it's successful, the fine will be cancelled. You have to appeal within 28 days of that ticket being issued, providing as much evidence as possible. So things like photos of unclear signage or documents proving that you sold your vehicle before that ticket date. After submitting your appeal, the private parking company or landowner has 56 days to review the case. If they accept your appeal, the PCN will be cancelled, and if they don't respond within 56 days, then you automatically win your case. If they reject your appeal, they can take your case to an independent tribunal. Two independent groups handle appeals. The IAS, that's the Independent Appeal Service for International Parking Community members, and Parking on Private Land Appeals, POPLA, for BPA members, that's the British Parking Association. The BPA regulates private parking operators in the UK, requiring members to adhere to a strict code of practice, including clear signage and a transparent appeals process. BPA members must offer an independent appeals process through POPLA, providing additional protection for motorists. The Protection of Freedoms Act 2012 introduced rules for how private parking operators can pursue fines and access vehicle owner information from the DVLA. If the ticket doesn't comply with the Act's requirements, you may have grounds for appeal. Familiarising yourself with these legal aspects can help you handle private parking fines more effectively. There are loads of different myths about private parking fines that can mislead motorists, and one common myth is that these fines aren't enforceable at all. Another myth is that you can ignore any communication from private parking operators without consequences. This approach can result in increased fines and court involvement. Now, if you're a bit unsure about whether your appeal is likely to be successful, then you might want to chat to an online solicitor. JustAnswer is currently running a £5 trial where you can ask as many questions as you need to in the online chat. And if you use the link that I'll leave under this video for you, you'll be supporting the Debt Advice Service, so thanks.